Grab a seat. Welcome, everyone. My name is Jeff Johnson, and I'm a publisher and owner of Minnesota Real Estate Journal. It's great to see so many people here today. This is, I believe, our fifth annual, even though last year wasn't, and it doesn't count, but we did skip last year. Fifth annual Destination Medical Center Summit in Rochester. And it's always great for me personally to be back down in Rochester. I am a Rochester native, graduated 89 from John Marshall. And God, that was a long time ago, but it was awesome back then, growing up in the 80s and 70s in Rochester. And oh my God, the city of Rochester has changed since I've been here for the better. So it's terrific to be down here today. And once again, thank you to all of you for attending today, our Rochester DMC Summit in person today. A couple quick announcements before we do start today's program. Special thank you to the Destination Medical Center team for helping us facilitate this program today, bringing all the speakers in. Also, thank you to our other sponsors, WSB, Premier Bank of Rochester, and Sun Control of Minnesota. So please join me in a quick round of applause for our sponsors. Without these sponsors, it's really hard to host these events. So once again, thank you, DMC, WSB, Premier Bank of Rochester, and Sun Control of Minnesota. Very much appreciate it. On the back of your program, we don't just host events here in Rochester. We actually host events across Minnesota and across the Midwest and down into Texas. But we have a number of events coming up. If you're interested in this event, and if you want to go to another future event that we're hosting, coming up in the next few weeks, this Friday, we're hosting our 18th annual office summit, and that will be at the Golden Valley Country Club in Minneapolis. So if you're interested in the office market, I would suggest maybe taking a look at that. And then December 10th is our affordable housing event, holiday party up in the Twin Cities. If you want to network with a lot of commercial real estate folks, December 15th. And then our annual apartment event that typically attracts around 800 multifamily apartment professionals. That's early next year. All you have to do is just scan the back with your phone and you can check it out. All right, so why don't we do this? Why don't we officially begin today's program? But I had to kind of do this because it's required by the state of Minnesota. Today's program has been officially approved for 3 hours of real estate continuing education credits today. In order to get those continuing education credits, the Commissioner of Commerce in the state of Minnesota requires that you sign in, which most people did, and provide an accurate real estate license number. So if you didn't give us a license number, that's okay. You can still give us before you leave today, and you have to sign out. Pretty simple. Sign in, sign out, license number. All right, we can all do that. All right, so enough with me talking. I am going to turn it over now to our MC and our first presenter, Patrick Seebe with DMC. So Patrick, come on up. It's all yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff, and Minnesota Real Estate Journal. Really appreciate the collaboration and partnership we've had over the years, and the idea of really trying to figure out what's the best way to unfold these events during these changing times. And so today we landed on the idea of in-person only. We created enough space so people can spread out and feel safe and comfortable distance. And we're not holding it over a meal, so people can largely be masked throughout this event. I do want to thank our staff who organized this, Allison Bauman from our team. You'll have an opportunity over break to see Chris Shad or Mike Flynn, Kevin Bright, Gino Palazzari, perhaps other DMC staff. So be sure to connect and interact with our staff over break. When we host this event each year, we really use it as an opportunity to help really create a status report on the what's happening in Rochester, the opportunity for real estate investment and growth, and really recognizing that this is a growing and changing market, and that what we understood a year ago or 2 years ago is perhaps different today and in the future, and really use this as a gathering to bring us all up to date with information and to keep us current. Hey, Allison or somebody, there's a lot of feedback from up here. I don't know if that's, can you hear it in the room? Okay, is there any way to not have it come from the laptop?
It's also bouncing
Okay.
off the back wall.
Is this better? Better for me anyway. Thank you. So this year we decided to focus our discussion on retail, and one may ask why focus on retail, and really there's, for some obvious reasons, like perhaps the most disrupted industry during COVID has been retail. Somebody, Chris from our team, likened it to the sort of evolution that has taken place over many years, and the retailers and downtown businesses and restaurants evolve and respond and adjust to the changing market. But then an asteroid dropped, and we have this sudden disruption that is occurring not just here in Rochester, but across the world, and really trying to understand what's like when asteroid hit the Earth before, what survives and what evolves and what changes. And really, that's the place we're at, I think, in retail. But importantly, for Destination Medical Center, retail is a part of the experience that makes for a destination. When we think about the 3 million visitors to Rochester every year, people from around the country and around the world, they're looking for a vibrant, active downtown that provides them with opportunities to get out of the clinic environment or out of their hotel environment, to perhaps feel a bit of distraction and familiarity. We have a need for a downtown retail that responds to the employees who work downtown or spending their days downtown. And of course, the growing number of people who call downtown home, the new downtown apartment dwellers that have really emerged on the scene. And so it's critically important to Destination Medical Center as an initiative in the community that we have a vibrant, healthy downtown retail experience. At Destination Medical Center, and there's many versions of what Destination Medical Center is. I think if we asked everybody in the room their version of Destination Medical Center, we'd hear something slightly different. But the way I summarize it is that we are a state-supported initiative to enable and support Rochester's growth. And we have really two tools to do that. One is public infrastructure dollars, $585 million from the state and the city and the county, public infrastructure dollars to strategically support Rochester's growth through underground improvements like sewers and water, streetscape and sidewalks and streets themselves, and also public spaces and public realm. Being thoughtful about using that $585 million to support the growth of our community. And by the way, that's the lessons we have learned over the past 5 years are going to be of national value, as $1 trillion of public infrastructure money are going to flow into states and communities over the next 10 years. So all of the lessons we've learned about the systems, the processes, the way to be strategic about how to use those public infrastructure dollars can be helpful lessons to other communities in our state and in our country. We also have a tool of business attraction and business recruitment. So public infrastructure to support the city's growth, and then business development and business attraction to proactively help the city grow. And that work is both around the retail, which we're going to hear more about, but it's also work that we're doing with attracting businesses in the life science sector, in the hotel industry, other industries as well, but really being intentional and proactive in telling the Rochester story, what makes Rochester special and unique. And when you have a choice of being anywhere in the country, why might you choose Rochester over other alternatives, including why might you establish and grow your retail here? We look at this through the lens of something that we call America's City for Health. And this brand is authentic to our community, like Nashville is Music City, or Detroit is Motor City, or the Bay Area is Silicon Valley. We authentically can own the brand of America's City for Health as America's Med City. And trying to understand that or think about that through the lens of retail, like what might that mean through the lens of retail? Healthy food or products or services that are especially important in a city for health, in a med city. So in today's program, we're going to hear from local experts, national experts. We're going to create an opportunity for you to have conversations at your table. We're going to have a break where there's an opportunity to meet the sponsors and talk to each other. And I think out of this, our hope is that we continue to build our locally specific strategy for supporting existing retailers. And when I say retailers, we mean both service providers, people who sell products and restaurants and bars, sort of all collectively under that term retail. How do we create a strategy that is designed around the unique characteristics of Rochester that can be authentically successful in our own community? Before I turn the program over to our next group of presenters, I do want to acknowledge there's a room full of very important people, but I do want to acknowledge the elected officials that I see in the room. I see Councilmember Kirkpatrick, whose ward includes the downtown area, Councilmember Keene, and Council President Carlson. So if we could, and if I'm missing any electeds, please raise your hand. Otherwise, please join me in thanking those electeds for their leadership and joining us today. So with that, let me turn the program over to our next group of presenters. You're going to hear from Chris Shad, who is Director of Business Development for Destination Medical Center. I sometimes say that he is the scientist among the DMC staff, literally is trained as a biologist and has had a 30-plus year career at Mayo Clinic. And so, of course, he's the person I turned to when we said we needed to develop a retail strategy. Why wouldn't we turn to a biologist? So you're going to be hearing from Chris, who is leading our efforts to develop this retail strategy. Going to hear from Liz McClay of McClay Consulting, who has been a team member we've brought on to help us in developing this work. And you're going to hear from Mike Bush from Paramark. Many of you know Mike and his role as a real estate broker in this community. So with that, please join me in welcoming Chris Shad.
Well, good morning, everybody. Let's see here. Got to find the Zoom, and I have to do the whole share screen thing here. So bear with me. Yep, that's the one. There we go. So good morning, everybody. I'm pleased to be able to be here and speak to you a little bit about the work that we're doing around retail retention and recruitment. I'm going to give a quick flyover of the strategy that we've developed with help from Liz and from help, frankly, from the business community itself, getting insights from the people who are working here and living here. So I'll give a flyover of what that strategy looks like. It's really just the framework. We don't have a lot of time to get into the details. I'm happy to send more details to you if you'd like afterwards. And then I'll hand this over to Liz, who will spend some time talking about one particular piece of the strategy, which was really marketing collateral, telling the story of downtown Rochester as a place to grow or move your retail business. And as Patrick mentioned, when we say retail, we mean really retail, dining, entertainment broadly described. And we'll also be hearing from Mike to give the broker perspective as well. So I don't want to take too much of their time by talking too much here. So I'm going to head through the deck here. So this is information that we shared with our DMCC board a few weeks ago, the work, because they're the group that tasked us with this work. And really, our objective is to develop this strategy to support the growth of existing retailers. I'm going to figure out a way here to talk and look at my slides at the same time. To support the existing retailers and recruit new businesses. There are a lot of things that go into running a retail business, and I won't pretend to understand all of the nuances and all of the details of what is needed, because I don't run a retail business out of a storefront. But we do know there are some things that the tools we have available to us as an economic development agency, there are some ways that we can be supportive. We can, in terms of space, in terms of customers, entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship support for those that are taking the jump into retail business, and capital. So there are some things that we can do, and those are the pieces that play into the strategy that we've developed and we're starting to execute on. The framework of the strategy looks like this. We've spent a fair amount of time over the last 6 months gathering data, just trying to understand the world around us. What does it look like? And that means understanding the downtown resident. We've partnered with RDA and did a downtown resident survey and an analysis of who's living downtown. What are they looking for? How much money do they make? What are they looking to shop? What are their motivators? How far are they? What is walkable? What is not walkable? So we needed to understand who is here. And if you look at the census data from the last 10 years, as that data is emerging, Olmsted County and Rochester population grew by something like 12.8%. Downtown Rochester, within a half mile, grew by 28%. Now it's a smaller denominator, but still it's faster growing than any other part of Rochester. The marketing collateral that Liz is going to be going through, excuse me, is important. Understanding what space is available, maybe breaking down some of the barriers of communicating across all of the brokers and being able to talk collectively about what we have available. Understanding what is missing in the marketplace, or what is maybe a little bit thin in the marketplace, the gap analysis, by talking with various groups, and I'm going to touch on that in a moment. The broker-owner retailer relationships are really important. That's a constantly evolving element of what we're doing. Access to capital. You may have heard about a month ago that we were the recipient of a $3 million grant from DEED called the Main Street Economic Revitalization Grant. And we're standing up a program. We're pulling together a co-designer team to help us design that program. But we're standing up a program to be able to disperse those funds out. And you'll be hearing more about that in the future. Marketing and recruitment activities are always underway. We want to understand interim use, and we're going to be hearing from a team later this morning on interim uses, what works, what doesn't work, the value proposition behind interim use, and what does that actually look like. And then the concept of a retail incubator. How can we make it easier? How can we lower the barriers of entry to individuals who want to step into a retail business, but with a little bit of a safety net and some supports? How can we make that happen as a pathway towards business ownership? I mentioned the gap analysis. There's a lot of information on the slide. I'm not going to cover it in any level of detail, but essentially we talk to people who are living here. We talk to people who are visiting here. We talk to existing business owners, and we listen to experts from outside the community who are looking in, sort of dispassionate third-party review of what we have downtown. And we asked an open-ended question: what is missing, or what do we need more of in downtown Rochester? It wasn't a checklist, check the ones that you think are missing. It was a very open-ended question. We didn't want to guide or direct it in any one way. The top categories that are all in that darker green, those are the ones where we're heard across the board from multiple groups and multiple individuals. These are the things that are needed. So to me, this represents opportunity. If there are people that are considering a business downtown, these are some sweet spots, perhaps, where there's a market that is looking to be served. And it's not to say we don't have these things. Some of these things we do have, but maybe it needs to be fine-tuned, or maybe we need more of it. And so understanding that those gaps were important. The yellow category, those are the ones where 3 of the 4 groups said, yes, we could use that downtown. And the third group down there is where 2 of the 4. So really just trying to take a very analytical view of what is here and what is needed. And I'm happy to share this in more detail with you later. I don't want to take a lot of time to go through this. To save time for Liz, who's going to be talking next about the marketing collateral. And I'll wrap up by saying the next steps here. So we need to get the marketing material out. We're going to be standing up a recruitment campaign to get the word out. We have the Main Street Capital Funds. We're standing up that group to figure out how do we disperse those funds out in a very tactical way that is very impactful, maximize the impact. Convening the brokers on a regular basis and property owners just to start talking collectively about what's going on. Explore the interim use, explore the retail incubator feasibility, and then develop success metrics. I had to put that on because my board was hearing this and they want to hear how we're successful. And of course, we want to be able to measure our success. I'm going to stop there and I'll stop sharing and I'll ask Liz to come up. Liz has been working for us for this last several months on developing this strategy, has deep relationships out in the marketplace from her vast experience in the retail world. So Patrick mentioned I'm the biologist. I talk science. I don't talk retail. Liz speaks retail, and she's going to be able to give you some really good information about the marketing collateral that we've put together.